40 years ago, the Vietnam War was ended by President Nixon, and hundreds of prisoners of war came home after years of brutal captivity.
That's the G.
Through their prison walls, they tapped letters to each other for God bless you, and came away with lessons about what courage really is. What is it?
Courage is fear that has said its prayers.
Courage is not always, the end of the fight. Courage is a process.
Everett Alvarez was the first American shot down in Vietnam. He was beaten and tortured. How long did you spend in captivity?
A total of 8.5 years. We had a code. It was returned with honor. Our dignity, our reputation, our character, that brought us through.
John Borling was locked up with him in what became known as the Hanoi Hilton. They were both tortured.
We maintained that we wouldn't give anything for free. So the thing was, do the best you can, make them hurt you and hurt you bad, and then bend but don't break.
A lot of people only have 5 or 6 friends that they can really count on in a tough situation. But we had 300 friends that we knew would take not just death for each other, but torture for each other. Torture is much harder to take than death.
Those are the last known American prisoners of war. That part of the Vietnam tragedy is over.
It was 1973. 590 American POWs were finally coming home.
Colonel Ellis, who says they got on the plane, he was handed a big cigar and hugged a nurse.
We had not seen a woman in 5.5 years. Can you imagine that?
I bounded up the stairs and stopped at the top. Blow him a kiss.
And Captain Gruters, who seemed so subdued on the flight home, soared in a dance of joy at the sight of his little brother all grown up.
The son of a gun is stronger than I am.
And then these wild rumors started circulating that there was going to be a dinner at the White House.
Here in this tent on the back lawn of the White House, more than 1,200 people will dine with the Nixons.
A giant tent was installed on the South Lawn. President Nixon invited every Vietnam POW. It remains the largest dinner ever held at the White House.
Never has the White House been more proud than it is tonight because of the guests we have tonight.
It was huge.
Lots of celebrities.
Lots of celebrities.
Who did you see?
Well, I sat with John Wayne at our table, and I thought, oh, man, this is it. I'm sitting with the Duke, my hero,
President Nixon made us feel like we were the stars.
There was an emotional reunion taking place at the Richard Nixon Library. Hundreds of former POWs from the Vietnam War gathering to commemorate a star-studded dinner that took place at the White House 40 years ago.
It was a hero's welcome that these heroes were worthy of.
They've been slowed by time, their numbers dwindling. Though many reuniting at the Nixon Library were propelled to rewarding lives by their rescue 40 years ago, they've never lost their bond with each other.
I was in table D.
I was over here somewhere. It was entertainer Sammy Davis Jr.'s idea to have a big celebration.
He said to the president, he said, you have a big party for them. He said, wouldn't it be nice if you could have all the POWs at a White House dinner?
With nearly 1,300 guests, it was the largest ever White House dinner. A huge tent covered the South Lawn. Bob Hope was master of ceremonies. John Wayne spoke. The heroes also were given unusual access inside the house.
One of us said, what do you suppose is in this door? I don't know. I opened the door, and it was President Nixon's study. And he was sitting behind the desk. And we walked in, and oh my God. And he said, it's okay, boys. That's all right. I'll be down there in a minute. You just go right ahead. And, we're just shaking. Oh my God, we walked in on the president.
In prison, they wrote down songs about America on toilet paper. They hid it from the Vietnamese. And 40 years ago, they sang one of them, written in prison. It is called the P.O.W. Prayer, about honor and freedom and home.
At the dinner 40 years ago, the POW choir sang a hymn one soldier wrote during captivity.
And proudly our nation's call.
4 decades older and unrehearsed, choir members sang the words they learned long ago when they were far from hope and far from home.
America and
God, to thee we lift our prayer and sing.
O God, to thee we raise this prayer and sing. From within these foreign prison walls, America, and thee,
And the nation salutes them back.